You're live.
Good morning and welcome to Natasha Makes. I'm still turning everything on. It's been a little bit hectic, hasn't it, Jane? I just need to tell Gemma one more thing so that she can get ahead with everything. And then we'll get there. Yes. Gemma, that is 60 inches of fabric in the fabric roll, in the striped fish. There you go. Tilda fabric at that, plus the buttons. Ooh. I've got all sorts of stuff going on. I don't know if she's listening to me at all. I don't know if she did. She is! She's not here. She's at home because daughter's still got COVID. She's not very well. So she's still home. So we're doing everything remotely, aren't we? And I've got a cup of tea, which is important right now. So this morning when I came in, I thought, I know, we'll just whip up a couple of samples, right, Jane? Yeah, as I do. Because, you know, yeah. We can do that in the morning, right? And make all the kits. So that was what I decided to do this morning. Turns out it's quite tricky. It's quite a lot to get done in the morning. Yeah. I'm with you, Jane. I think I can do everything. Yes. Yeah. No. So, Gemma, does that help you at all in any way, shape or form?
That's fine.
Is that everything that you need? 60 inches of Tilda fabric plus buttons for the fish. Excellent. Yeah. Bye then.
Fine.
There we go. What could be clearer than that?
Straightforward.
Oh my god. I was on course this weekend. So for any of you that are thinking, why isn't she organised today? What's the matter with her? I was on a course all weekend. Just. So let me see. What do I need to do? I need to find you guys on Facebook. That's what I need to do. I need to compose myself and then I need to get making some stuff, don't I?
You're okay, you've got everything you need.
I think I have. Thank you, Jane.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be listening if you need anything.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've had a busy few days, to be honest. Now, a lot of you have already found this beautiful Tilda fabric. And I don't blame you for going crazy with it. I really don't, because it's beautiful. But there might be some of you that are just thinking, well, you know, what if I just want to make a little something? Well then, do you know what? Why don't you do a through the window quilt with a charm pack? Because we've got that option. But what we're going to look at today, this is a big one, isn't it? Is making something like this. Which actually goes around like that. And this is, using this is a beginner, actually this is a beginner make, which is rather lovely. So we've got that option for you. We've also got brand new Lewis and Irene for you as well. So we have got, and these are free downloads, but we will print them off for you so that when you get the kits, you can do them. So if you've got a jelly roll, you can make one yourself. We haven't put the chambray in because we bought the fat quarter bundles of the chambrays. So we've used our plains rather than the chambrays. But that's rather lovely. So I'm going to show you how to do those. And I'm also going to show you this morning how to do one of those, which is rather fabulous as well. So, and the kit is going to be, hang on, for this, this kind of coloured one. Yeah, that's what we're going with today. So not too much of a challenge. Not really. It's all good. Right. So with the fish, let's finish off the fish because I'm kind of part way through the fish. And he's a little bit more complicated. So let me just clear the decks. You are going to want all your creative grids rulers for this little guy. Oh, hang on a minute. Did you see those, by the way? These are the ombre chambrays, as I like to call them, which are rather beautiful. Aren't they stunning? Aren't they just beautiful? We were thinking the Liberty Rainbow applique quilt that we did last week would look rather beautiful in those. And to that end, there is a bundle on the website for those. Yes, there is, with all of your plains. So if you want to do that, then you can, because it would look rather gorgeous. Should we say hello to everyone? Shall we? Let's do that. Turn the volume down. Ooh, I do like the fish cushion. Love the fish quilt too. Do you know what? That's just it, isn't it? And I thought that by the time you've learnt how to make one of the blocks, then it's up to you. And all of these patterns are available. If you want fabric quantities, etc., etc., they're all available on Tilda's World, and they're free downloads, okay? Which is why we'll print them off and we'll put them in there for free. So if you don't want to go searching through the internet to find them, it's already done for you, so don't worry about that. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Pam. Hello. Good morning, Joan. She has all lovely sunshine here. Good morning, Myra. Hi, everyone. Was out for lunch yesterday. The first since the 19th of December was great, but slept since. Love the pillow. Fabulous. Barbara says lovely fabrics on the shelf. Yes, they are rather beautiful. Really rather beautiful. I do love them. Fishies! I'm a fishy, says Sylve. The thing is, good morning, Laurie. Lovely to have you here too. Morning, Jane. Morning, Louise. Morning, Sylve. Get thee away, you temptress. Just do my job. Morning, Louise. Morning, Claire. Morning, Jill. She's got back from walking the dogs. Do you know what? My little treat to myself is when I'm working, the dogs get walked for me, because it's not fair to make them wait for any of that sort of thing. Also, just in case you haven't seen on the Tilda's World, for those of you that have already bought the fabric and wonder what you might want to make with it, just bear in mind there's also that option for the pillows. Just saying. And also, I know that a lot of you have also seen the brand new Lewis and Irene that has come in as well. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at the Tildas. We are running low on some of the Tilda stock already, because when it came in, you guys just went for it. So thank you. Thank you for that. That's fabulous. It's all good. It is all good. So, what do you want to do first? Should we have a look at the fabrics? Should we do that? Some are cut to order, some are in bundles. Do take a look on the website. Morning, lovely's just got home from a walk. From work in Poland. Not a walk in Poland. Feel it's quite a long way to walk, isn't it? And imagine my delight on opening a beautiful parcel of gorgeousness from Natasha Makes. Delicious fabrics. Well, thank you very much. There we go. Right. Now, the fabrics that you were all going a little bit crazy for, and actually, I don't know how many of these we've got left, so you're going to have a look on the website. I think we might have a couple of units of this colourway, which is me and my friend. It's quite a cute little pincushion version of that. I think this one may have sold out. I don't know. You got in there really, really quick. But if you have bought those, can I just tell you that this one, which is the limpet shell in grey, works rather beautifully with both. Just saying. As does beautiful the scallop shell in grey, one of my personal favourites there. It's a little bit William Morrissey, isn't it? If William Morris had done shells, I'm sure it'd have been all over that. And then this is your sea anemone in grey. Gorgeous, right? Now you can get those as a bundle, or yeah. Oh, the top shelf ladies. Yes, that's what we're lovingly knowing them at, because, wait for it, they sit on the top shelf. Up there. Whee! That's looking a little wobbly, isn't it, today? Now then, let's have a look then at these ones. Oh, they're a bit gorgeous as well. So we have got scallop shell coral here. Rather lovely. Oh, look, goes on my top. Nice. And then we have got here Ocean Flower in Grey. Very beautiful as well. These ones. Yeah, so these ones are the ones that are all in the cushion that Jane has made. Well, I say Jane's made. It was a joint effort. I made these bits and then Jane sewed them all together. So you can see all of these coming through. There you go. Ta-da! So this is your coral reef in ginger. They look like trees though as well. That's the beauty of these. So if you want to get that tree effect and use them in a different way, then do that. And then your limpet shell in lilac. And your sea anemone also in lilac. There we go. And your ocean flower coral. Beautiful. Last but by no means least on that shelf, your coral reef in, wait for it, coral. Yep, that's what we're looking at there. Rather fabulous. This one has been such a winner from Tilda. She's done it again. Whoop! Ah! I've damaged my shoulder, so I'm not actually meant to be lugging anything. But there's only so many ways you're going to get to see the fabric, isn't there? Now, the shells were in a bundle. I don't know if we've got any of the bundles left or if they are now all available by the half metre. But let's have a quick look at these. I know I've just taken some of these for my fish cushion, cause for my fish cushion, that is the backing for my fish cushion. Then so that is your shells, beach shells in honey. We've got beach shells in teal. We've got beach shells in blue. I mean, every bathroom should have all of this, right? Beach shells in grey. Or the other thing that you could do is get some of our bamboo toweling and then just edge it in this, bind it in some of these. Be rather fabulous as well. Beach shells in coral. Hooray! So they are those. They are those? Is that grammatically correct? No idea today. No idea. Right. Get in there. There we are. Let's move said hippo down there and show you these two. These two are rather gorgeous. This is from the blue bundles. I don't know how many of the blue bundles we've got left, and Gemma's not here to ask. So when we bundled these, you could have them like 5 of the same colour, and you could pick your colour sets, or you could buy by the half metre, or you could buy the complete collection. So we gave you various ways to buy as you started off. Here we go. So this is your limpet shells in blue and your coral reef in blue. Beautiful. And then I've got sort of a mixture here because these are the colours in the cushion that I'm going to do. Whoop. So we have got Ocean Flower Blue, which has been incredibly popular. We have got Sea Anemones in blue. We have got Scallop Shell, you guessed it, in blue. Love that. We have got Coral Reef in teal. Good reef. We have got the Scallop Shell in teal. Limpet in teal. We have got the Ocean Flower in honey. And we've got your Sea Anemone in honey there as well. All looking really rather fabulous. Spin it round enough times I'll get it round the right way. But if I that's what this cushion is going to look like. It's going to go up through those colours and then ombre up into those. So I'm quite excited for this, if I'm honest. Yes! I've done a little bit of prep on it. There we go. And here we go. And then those ones. Up there, like that. Okay. Right. Shall we have a look? I've made a start on the fish cushion. Yes, I have. Say my fish cushion really fast 10 times. No. 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 Right, do you know what I'm going to do? Those, I'm going to pop these. Ooh. It was, this colour was what we put over here with that, which was our plain coral. And that picked out those colours in there. As you can see, beautifully there. Righty-ho. So, striped fish cushion. Let's look at that. Now, this is your kit. It's quite a meaty kit. I'm not going to lie. And as ever, I've given you more than you need. So there is a lot in here. Okay. You get your buttons, because it's got a button down back. You get that. You get all sorts of bits and bobs, because you've got all sorts of little bits. So we've cut it for you. These are your stripes. So we've done your stripes. I just happen to have a little bit of the T-tail stripe in blue, and it really is, it picks up that exact blue, which was just glorious. That's for his tail, that's for his lips, that's for the fin, and then this is the backing. So you get a huge amount of that for your backing. So that's going to be buttoned down, and I chose the blue buttons because it'll then echo the blues from the front. You also get, this is your binding, is that beautiful shell there, because we're looking at getting as close to this colourway as we can. It's not always possible because we don't always have all those colours in, but the background is going to be just a shade deeper than this one here in the beautiful Tilda Petrol. So that's what we're looking at. And as you can see from here, it is starting to come together and look rather lovely, because you've got these colours that are all going to work with it. And that's just delightful. I've given you way more than you need of your teal, so of your petrol, so you might want to do a bit of backing or something with that. It's entirely up to you, and then save this for something else. Entirely up to you. But so this is a big kit with a lot of fabric, because like I say, that's a 1/2 meter. This is, what was that? That was a 15-inch strip. That's a 10-inch strip. That's another, they're 5.5 inch. It's all going on. There's a lot in here, plus our time to then cut them, put them all together, and get it all together for you. Should you wish to wad and quilt it, then you absolutely can. It's entirely up to you. I just love, look how this colour here is picked out by that petrol in there. It's rather fabulous. Here we are. So, and I was really careful about how these were cut, because the easy thing would have been just to have cut a 2.5 inch strip and then subdivided it into your 5.5 inches, but you want to have that flower the right way, so it had to be a 5.5 inch strip, then cut into 2.5 inches. And your buttons, of course, there, which are rather fabulous and pick out all, well, in fact one of them is that fabric, so we've gone with those kind of colorways, and this is the sort of colorway that we're going to be making with this kit. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Let's put that to one side. So and we'll pop the instructions in for you as well. They are very detailed. I've cut these to allow you extra bits. Okay, so just find the fabric and use it, and you'll know that, well, the stripe is the only stripe. It's just a different stripe than is there. This is the layout for the fish. That's it. And it gives you all your cutting out and your measurements. This is where we get to. The instructions are really clear, step by step, and there are just a few different little techniques before it all starts to go together. Look, you get loads. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. There we go. They are all of your instructions, which we like. And let's see where we've got to. So I've done a bit of pre-cutting and a little bit of pre-making as well. As like I say, once you've seen some of these techniques. So that is your top fin. And then this is my bottom fin along there. My trout pout there. And we want to look at, this is where you could come unstuck. So this is the bit that I really wanted to look at today with you. Because yeah, there's measurings and stuff involved. And if you can do this, you can do the rest of it, nay bother at all. And I haven't done the tail yet. You can see we'll do the tail together. We'll do the bottom ones of these together. And then it's just a matter of putting them all together and seeing how he's going to look overall. And I think the colours really look great for this. So let's put these fins to one side and really concentrate on, I've got to concentrate this morning, actual concentration. That's my button fabric. Right, let's put these instructions away for where we don't need it yet. Alrighty. So this is the bit that we're looking at. Okay, and this is a little bit unusual. This is probably not quite what you would have done before. You're going to need your rulers. Definitely a ruler situation for sure. Now, there are lots of markings on here that Tilda asks you to make, but you don't need all of them. Okay. So this is the wrong side for the bottom left. So can you see? There's that. Now, what you do, and this is where it's different, is you are going to measure in a 1/4 of an inch. This is why you want those rulers. 1/4 of an inch, and measure in a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then when you draw diagonally across, you see I've already done it, you are going from that 1/4 of an inch sign to your 1/4 of an inch mark. You are not going corner to corner, or you will get skew-iff, and you're going to draw that line on. Now down on this fabric here, you've got some red marks to measure on. Okay, so you want to measure in 1 3/4 inches up from the bottom. And again, this is where you're going to measure it in a 1/4 of an inch. So this is where my creative grids are absolutely fabulous, because I've got that 1/4 of an inch on there, and 1 3/4 takes me to there. I'm going to mark that there. And then across here, 4 1/2 inches again on that 1/4 of an inch line. So that is going to take me, whee. Oh no, it's 4 1/4. You see, double check yourself. Double check. And that's going to take me to that bit there. Now, look at these instructions, okay, because this is giving you the angles. This is the wrong side. We're using a plane. It's absolutely fine. So what I really want you to look at is the angle, because that is going to go at a funny old angle like that across your fabric. Okay, and it looks all sorts of wrong and it feels all sorts of wrong, but hopefully it's okay. So I'm going to stick my pin in that 1/4 of an inch mark that I made there and my 1/4 of an inch mark there. I'm going to give that a little wiggle, and then I'm going to get another pin and I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to get a straight pin, there we go, and pop that in there, my 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put it in my marker that I made over there. And you can see that when you do that, that's where it needs to be. So I'm just going to spin that pin and just pop that there for now, and just pop that pin there for now. And what I'm actually going to do is get some thinner pins, get my patchwork pins, not my quilting pins. That's going to help hugely. And I'm going to pin this in place. So that is not going to move when I come to sew. And I'm going to pin either side of the line. Okay, so I'm going to keep those pins in. I'm going to then start to stitch there and all the way across there. So you can stitch, what she's done is follow that line through, but it doesn't go right to the end. It just doesn't. So if you do want to follow that line, do, but it doesn't go to the very, very tip of your fabric. It's off by like 1/8 of an inch, and it just makes the difference. It really does. The other thing that I'm going to really recommend you do as well with this, so for this instance, I'm going to pop my needle right in the middle. And you can see I've got all my little scraps here because I'm going to use these as whatchamacallums, donkeys, leaders, whatever you want to call them. That's what they're going to be, okay? So you've got all this marked on. Then you want to just very, very carefully sew on that line. The way I've placed my pins means I don't actually have to take them out, which is really great. Go me. And I'm going to sew right the way up to that pin, then take it off and sew off. And then it comes back to my mat. But there's no way that I would attempt this at all without the instructions. And before I go trimming anything back, yeah, I'm going to press, and then with the edge, and you can see that that is exactly where that needs to be. It's a miracle, miracle, I tell you. So then when I'm happy that that is exactly where I need it to be, I'm going to lift that up and then just trim 1/4 of an inch. Please trim the right bit, else that would be really awkward. Ta-da! And then we're going to look at doing similar over here with this little chap. So again, I marked in 1/4 of an inch. So it's this one, far bottom right. So I've marked in across there, going from that 1/4 of an inch line. And if I just mark that there, then if I want to, I can just carry that line on so that I know where it's going to. And again, I can then mark that so that I know where I'm stitching. That's giving me my stitch line as long as I've marked on and I know where my 1/4 of an inch is, because that's really important. Now again, here I'm going to look, and it's 2 1/4 inches that I want to go up. and again 1/4 of an inch, so 2 1/4 up on that 1/4 of an inch line, and I'm going to mark that there, and then across here is 8 1/4. And this is where creative grids are so great, because you've got that 1/4 of an inch mark on there. So 8 1/4 is just there. Okay, so, and again, I'm not even going to attempt to do this without very firmly looking at these instructions, because it feels all kinds of wrong. It really does. So pop these through my 1/4 of an inch markers. One there, and then one down there. And you'll see as soon as you pop those pins up, if it takes up the slack of the fabric, then you've probably got it right. There we go. All the way down to there. And I'm just going to double check myself. Have I got a great big chunk up there? Yes, I have. Chunk coming off there? Yes, I have. Right, let's give that a little sew then and see where we get to with this. So stitching on that line, I've got an open toe foot on so that I can see exactly where I'm stitching. And I can start to take these pins out if they get in the way, but okay. And then let's hope we've done this right. Please don't go chopping anything off until you have really checked that that is going to go up. Yep, 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 yep. And cover those bits. Because that would be really awkward otherwise. But yeah, I reckon we're good. So now I can flip that back and trim that back a little bit there. Make sure you do fully flip it back, as you'll be trimming off bits you don't want to be trimming off. There we go. Hooray! Hooray, hooray! So we've got the front and the back of our fish, which means that all we've got to do now is make the fish tail. Now for each bit, what you get is this. Okay, so for the fish tail, my cutting instructions are here. So let's look at this. So G, I need a 3.5 inch by 1 1/4 inch piece. Now I've got various bits over here still to play with that bit for Oof, bit of a press. And let me just check. Is that 1.5 inches? I did cut a 1.5 inch strip. Yes, that is my 1.5 inch strip. Woohoo! And I've got 2 G's. You can see there 2 G's. So I'm going to need 2 3.5 inch bits of that. And depending on how, if you're going to go away and leave this, then do just label these up with your little. We're getting some little Natasha Makes post-it notes for your sewing delight. I've got 2 eyes, and that's going to be a 1 3/4 inch square. Okay, now somewhere I have got. Or have I used it all up? See, that's not going to do all of it, is it? So I'll have to cut another little bit. So we'll leave that for now. And then J is 2 1/4 inch square. And I need 2 of those. So what I would say is, I'm just going to cut myself another little strip off here. And I'll make it a 2 1/4. And then we can just trim it back. And this is why you've got plenty in there for you. So J is 2 1/4 inch square. So let's cut us 2 of those. And then I was 1 3/4. And again, this is where having the Creative Grids rulers that just show you where everything is fabulous. I cut 2 of those. No, just 1. 1 3/4, 1 3/4. And then you've got little snippets you can use for leaders or whatever you want. So I've got all of those cut. Perfect. And then what we need, so you can start to kind of lay them out if you want. That really helps me. I know I've got to have those 2 there. Oh, I only did 1 of those. I thought I'd done it double clearly. Oh no, look, I pulled it back. Silly me. 2 1/4. All right, so now I'm going to get my, because I cut it for this. And what did I do with it? Aha! Do you know what? Let me see if I can get it out of the scraps. You've got a nice big chunk. So out of my 2 H's, I need 2 H's, and they are 3.5 inches by 2 1/4. So I know that if I cut this at 3, what did I say it was? 3.5 inches. You've got loads. You've got so much extra in your kit, by the way. So I've cut that 3.5. What did I need for H again? 3.5 by 2 1/4. 2 1/4. There's 1. And there's 2. Okay. This is just going to look really great in a bathroom or something, isn't it? So, and again, let's just pop this into the equation here. So that's going to be on there. That's going to be up that corner. And again, we can start to build up. And it just helps you double check yourself. That's what I find. I'm constantly double checking. So let's have a look. We are going to make the fishtail first. So for the top one, we've got our I and our J fabric. And I'm going to start off and just mark those diagonals in the correct direction is always going to help, right? Yeah. And we know that that's also going to go in that direction as well. But I am just going to pop that in there. So that will be that one. And then for the bottom one, we know that I is going to go in that direction, and we know that J is also going to come down in the opposite direction because we've followed these. Okay. So we're going to stitch them. Now again, my needle is in that middle position. I'm definitely going to use a scrap piece of fabric first, because otherwise this tends to disappear. And all that scrap piece of fabric is doing is just taking up the tension. So that I can just get stitching easily across there. So yeah, chain piecing is really useful. And then going back to look at, right, which bits. So you know that the directions are going to be opposite, right? So, whoops. Press that one that way. And again, I always wait until I've pressed them before I do any trimming, okay? And that's just because I've done it wrong before and it was not pretty. Not gonna lie, it's not a pretty situation. So I'm always far happier just to double check myself. And this is the how you make the lips and everything with this kind of technique. So here we have the end of the tail. And then so we're going to stitch down on both of those, and away we go. And once again, I'm going to press all of that before I start doing anything. Pins out. And just make sure that we are all good. Love this shell fabric. It's so very pretty. Okay. Yes, we're getting there. We are getting there. And we're starting to get our little fishtail going on, which is excellent. And we like very much. You can leave the layers on if you want. It's entirely up to you. I tend not to. So then flip that down, and if you want to pin, you know, you can match those up. There you go. And then give it a quick stitch. Oh, you know what I haven't done? Please, please, please remember to go back to your 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to unpick. It's a good job I didn't go too much further, isn't it? Ooh. Yeah, because these seam allowances are really important. So I wasn't sewing with the seam allowance when I was going, obviously, diagonally. Thank goodness I remembered when I did. Right, let's try that again. How many of you were shouting at the screen? Don't do it! Don't do it! Right, let's go again. At the correct seam allowance. Go me. Perfect. Now what I'd say with some of these is don't be afraid if you need to trim a little bit back. See, I've just got a slight wonk there. You are dealing with all sorts of biases and stuff, so there we go, that evens that up. And then just popping those on there, top and bottom. Good to go. Or we will be when, there we are. But yeah, do remember to sew with the correct seam allowance, because otherwise you're going to wonder why all these bits don't come together. There we go. So every time I'm setting that seam, and then just pressing away. You can press them open, it's entirely up to you. There we go. Right, so now we come to start to put them all together, which is very exciting indeed. And I am sort of looking going, why is that longer than it should be? Have I done that round the wrong way? No, surely not. 3.5 by 1 1/4. Oh, that's why, because it was 3.5 G by 1 1/4. Did I do those 1 1/2? Yeah, so I just need to take off 1/4 of an inch off there, and you will see if you've misdone anything, you'll be like, how is that happening? What have I done there? What have I done there? So I think the thing is, don't hurry this, otherwise it's not going to come together. Okay. Yeah, you see, so I've got some bias edges there. That is going to start to come back. There we go. Okay. So let's see. Then we've got, hopefully, all of our constituent parts now. Here we are. Assembling the body. Right, let's see. Where are we? That's going to be at the top. That's going to be down the bottom. Looking rather fabulous. What have I done with the lips? Oh, the lips are there. Let's make sure we pop the lips on so that they look rather good. And then our tail over there, like so. Like so. Right. So we are going to go right sides together and do the lips. Now, if I look, what I can see is that my seam here does actually match there, so I am just going to pop a little pin in there and there. Nope. Okay, and so then we're going to take now. Jane will always tell you that if you've got a bit that's more wobbly, then you're going to put any sort of loose side bit on the bottom, and that's what you can do. What I would say when you look at this is that's going to go like that and be rather fab. So just line that up there. Again. Unless I just have a feeling that there was another set of instructions on this. Oh yeah, so that measures that bit. Okay. Let's see what happens here, shall we? We'll see what that's done. There he is. And here's a wonderful pout going on there. Fabulous. And then let's have a look over here. And again, I'm going to match up the tail bits there and start to pin from that bit. And then pin my way out. If this is out for any other reason, I can always just trim that back. So I discovered I haven't read it properly and I was meant to have trimmed them back to some kind of amount, but we'll see. And then let's press. There we go. I am going to trim that back. I wonder if I've just done that a little bit white. Just have a look at the push the front. No. I am just going to trim that. I think I've made these ever so slightly too wide somehow, but I'm just going to trim that back. And just square everything up before I start sewing the top and bottom bits together. Because you have got bits of bias all over the shop here, so just be aware that you might have bits that are a little bit wobblier. I'm going to use that as a technical word. Okay. Start to get all these bits out of the way. So now the next bit that we've got is here and here. So that'll go onto there. Should have sewn that all the way up and I didn't, did I? So if you have got a little bit like I should have sewn that all the way up to there and I haven't, you know, you can go back in and correct that. Strange enough, this was done in a little bit of a hurry this morning. Funny that, hey? And then just pinning out to my edges, just to keep those together. And then I'm going to pin out to my edges there. And those. And then, no, that's tempting fate, isn't it, to try and pin too many bits together at one go. Let's just stitch that down and see where that takes us to. Honestly, when we do the next one, you'll be like, oh, well, that's a lot easier. With the next cushion, what I like about Tilda is that the patterns that she's giving us are for beginners and more advanced as well. I wouldn't have said this was a beginner make myself. But again, I don't like to ever stipulate entirely because you'll always meet that person that says, well, my first ever make was a wedding dress or something like that. And you go, oh yeah, okay. Been saying for years, still wouldn't make a wedding dress, but okay. So, you know. Here we go. So the fin's in. And yeah, I will go back in and just stitch. I came just off my 1/4 of an inch, ever so slightly. And again, you can really look at your seams, whether you've pressed them, which way you've pressed them, and just the way that I'd pressed those meant there was a bit of bulk. So I will, there we go. Whee! But we are looking good so far. And then the bottom fin is here. Oh, there we go. Looking rather fabulous. So we're going to flip that up. I then like to spin it round. And we're going to pin any bits that we think should be meeting or joining anywhere. We'll pin those in place. Tilda's very clever at doing this. She really is very clever. So, far more clever than I. But again, you are going to have little bits of bias, so there's always a little bit of room for stretch. If you want to prep your fabrics first with a bit of flatter or best press or any other kind of starch spray, then do. Absolutely do. Now we've got a few sets of buttons as well available individually. The buttons, they're just lovely because Tilda will always put a button in a kit somewhere. So it's often worth just grabbing yourself. You know what I should have done, with, given that I am working with the machine, put my walking foot on. Now I think about it. Right, so let's give that a press. And again, I can just see that if I go a little bit, I've gone a little bit narrow with that seam. So I'm going to go in again. And it really does make the difference. Come in too narrow on some of these seams because it just wasn't quite lining up. There we go. So now you can see, if I just give that a quick press. That now that you've got that line that comes down through there. So that is the basics behind that. I would probably just neaten up just a little bit before I add the borders on. Just the lips, the old troutus poutus, because there's a bit of stretch gone on there. Whoops, helps if I actually, there we are. But then now what you've got are your borders to add. So I've got 2 borders here. One there. I've got a narrow border to add on the end there. So then when you've got all of those borders on, you are good to go. That then is the front of your cushion done. Won't add all of those borders on, but what you do want to add in is your eye. Now in your kit, you've got quite a big chunk of this fabric. What did I do with mine? Here it is. So that you can really fussy cut and have a bit left over for, I don't know, an EPP project or something. And that's what I mean by, like, I've been really generous. Now what I did want to check is 7/8 of an inch diameter. Oof. So that is the right size. This is what I'm going to recommend you do. And that is, get your freezer paper out. How many of you have got freezer paper? And if you have, get it out. Don't use those scissors because they are not the ones. Okay, cut yourself a little chunk. And draw around your eye template. You will possibly make a far better job of it than I. Eye. And then you want to go shiny side onto dull side and grab yourself some sort of pressing mat. Ooh, I took all of mine to Hochanda with me. Did I leave anything around here? Do you know what? No, I didn't. So what I will do instead is just apply all of that directly onto here. So you want to just cut that. Just trying to see where I left it. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Bear with. I left it on the side here. Oh. Now, yeah, I've got it. Thanks, Jane. The reason, for those of you that have seen the Orient Baltimore, you know that, well, firstly, freezer paper is fabulous. And secondly, on its own, it's okay for using as a template for your applique and stuff like that. But it's even better if you double it up. And you can do that. So we've done this in the Baltimore. This is an old trick now. And then we're going to put that over one of these to fussy cut. Oh gosh, when I said that I've been like really generous. I've been really generous. So I'm going to do that. I've got to cut round it. So I'm going to leave myself enough of a gap. So pop that on the back onto one of those and press that on. And then cut yourself a nice generous seam allowance. This is the eye of your fish, which is rather brilliant. Find myself a needle. So we have fussy cut. I'm just going to pop a knot in the end. Here we go. And we are going to just do a long running stitch around here, okay? And we're not going to leave it too long before we start to pull up as we go, okay? Round we go, back to the beginning, back to where we started. Okay, really pull that up. There it is. And you can give it a little press. And if you want to spritz a best press, just to really help hold it there, that's what I find really helps with all these things. Oh, that's a nice one. That's, what's that, pineapple? Smells great. And then, you see the eye is going to go, where does the eye go? Right in the middle, here. Oh yeah, look at him. Fabulous. So let's have a look at your fabric bundle, because your back with the buttons, the decorative buttons, that's going to be your backing fabric, okay? But then you've also got, and this is, look, this is if you want to, you do have quite a lot, or you should have, yeah, quite a lot of your plain if you wanted to do the back and save these for something else. This is your binding fabric. So if you can just imagine just bear with me for a moment. He will be bound in that all the way around, and then the back will be that, and he'll be really rather fabulous. Oh yes, yes he will. Right, I better put that back in the kit now. Someone's going to be saying, we didn't get. I'll be like, no, sorry, you didn't, did you? It's because I used it. So that is, well, they are all the little tricky bits that you will need to know for your fish. And I've got a limited amount of these kits because it's just finding all the different fabrics and sourcing them all. Making sure then that you've got the buttons. So again, in the kit, where are my buttons? Here we go. You will have those beautiful buttons that will go down the back. Now you only need 4, so you've got enough for two kits there, should you wish, but they're in there. So that is your fish. That is your Mr. Fishy Fish, and that's the first of the 2 cushions. Now the next cushion that we're going to look at is this one here. We need a big cushion pad for that one. It's a massive cushion, but I just love the way that it ombres through in these beautiful, beautiful fabrics. So I will finish him off later. Pop him to one side. And then we can have a little look at right, so I've made a start. Whilst no one was looking, I made a bit of a start. There we go, pop that up there. Let me just clear the decks a little bit. Gemma, you might not want to watch this from home. We'll consider those decks cleared, shall we? Ah! Honestly, it gets a bit messy in here sometimes. It's a creative space. That's what I like to tell myself. Right, okay. That was my fish quilt. Well, just repeat if you want to do the full quilt. There we go. And then let's have a look at, so for the next one, we're going to look at this. And it's beautiful. So these 2 here. So we've got the one on the back wall, which is that one. We're going to have a look at this one here, which is really rather fabulous. Now, if you've got the chambres, you need them by the 1/2 metre, not a fat quarter. The fat quarters are not enough for this, which is why we've put our plains in for you. So these are the colourways. If you've got a jelly roll, you can do it with this as well. So, or just cut your fabric to 2.5 inch strips. If you've bought the kit from us, we have pre-cut them to 2.5 inch strips for you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we have, because we are nice like that. And I've just gone through and in their colour order, I've stitched them together. Now, I do want to just talk about this for a moment, okay? Because I made sure that for each of these pairs, I started sewing from one end, okay, and the same end all the way through. And I did that to make sure that when I then sew them together, I'm going to sew from the other end, so that you don't get that bananaing. One will compensate for the other, if you get what I mean. Here we are. So it's pretty easy. Let's start to lay them out and you will get an idea of how this is going to go. And again, I'm not going to manage to make the full thing today. I can't believe where that time's gone. That fish was more complex than I first imagined. But we will have all the kits up. So if you want this teal colourway or if you want the purpley colourway, then you can absolutely go for that. And just knocking that seam the edge of my iron. I've set it first so that that thread is right in there. Then just knocking that away all the way along. Now, when I started sewing these, I started from this end. Every single set of these pairs, I started from that end. So when I sew them together, I'm going to sew them together from that end. Okay. So let's just flip that and do that now. And that I will repeat all the way through. So then I know they've all been sewn opposites. Check, I'm on 1/4 inch. We are good. And away we go. This is the easiest of quilts. If you can stitch in a straight line, then you can make this one. You can make it up as a big quilt. You can just make it up as a big cushion, which is what we've got. It's entirely up to you. But the joy of our kits is that you don't have to buy the whole fabric roll. Fabric rolls have suddenly gotten really expensive. And we're very aware that a lot of you just don't want to spend that kind of money on your 2.5 inch strips. So we're very happy to sew, make some for you, no problem. And so you just repeat that all the way down. Again, pressing. Oh, I've had a little wobble there. If you do have a little wobble, because at times I can't sew in a straight line. The very first thing I ever bought really was a jelly roll, because I can't cut, so I'll buy something that's pre-cut. And then I realised I couldn't sew in a straight line either. So I got one of those 1/4 inch feet that had kind of like a rudder at the end, so I couldn't go over that. That worked a treat, an absolute treat. So you can see already this is coming together really nicely. And again, because this is a nice simple make, there's no matching seams or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's really rather lovely. And you get to have a good look at these fabrics again. Again, when they're gone, they're gone. We won't be getting any more in of these. So if you love it, grab it. That's all I can say. Morning, Mr. John Cole Morgan. Late start for you. Just realised that I'm in next Monday. Yes, you are, sir. You absolutely are. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, hang on. I've put the wrong one in next. This one's next. So follow your guide. We're down to there. So then we are very much looking forward to it. This time next week, it's Valentine's Day. How very lovely. Are you lot a romantic lot, or do you just show your love every day? What's going to be the thing for you guys? Are you all going to celebrate, go out for a lovely romantic meal? Or do you, quite frankly, just show your love every day? Here we are. There we go. Okay, so, and again, I'm just following my diagram here as to what I need to sew on next. So I've got that one, and then the beautiful, beautiful teal corally bits there, which is fabulous. And then, yeah, So that one. Oh, I haven't done this one yet. Oh, look how beautiful that is. They are just so beautiful. I think these last couple of collections from Tilda have been just exquisite. I've really enjoyed them. Really enjoyed them. Mr. John Cole Morgan, how will I be spending Valentine's Day? I don't know. It depends on whose day with the kids it is all I'm going to say. So we'll see about that. Right. So you throw me, John, naughty man. Where am I at? That one, and then here. That one, then that one. There we go. That's the monkey. There we go, and then that onto there, and you can see how beautifully those are gonna go. Oh, beautiful. So then you see what we're going to do is start working with these and intersperse these through those. So that's how this is going to work. So you sew all your strips together. If we got time, will you wait while I just do a little bit of... the fabric is really gorgeous. Myra, of course, every day I wash the smalls and take out the garbage. Oh, Myra. It's all go, isn't it? Beautiful. That's love, that is. Washing of the smalls. We've all heard John's stories of Valentine's Day, haven't we? I think that he's probably safest with us that day, and then we'll send him safely home to Andrew in the evening, and all will be well. Now you will of course take your time and do this really, really super accurately, or not. It's entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. There we are. Yeah, it's so I think what John Cole Morgan, naughty boy, is alluding to is that you guys know, don't you, that my husband and I split up last year, and we both now have new people in our lives, which is very lovely. And so yes, it's the juggle of who has the kids on what night and working all that kind of stuff. It's modern day living, isn't it? It all gets very, very complicated, and all the fun. I don't know if you dibs a night, like that's I'll have that one. You can have the kids that night. I don't know if that's how that's going to work. Who knows? Finding new ways. Right, let's now stitch that onto that onto that, and we're good to go. That way. You know, I said always start from this end now. That does affect which way around I put the fabrics, because I have the smaller fabric on top, the small amount of fabrics on top there. And I just keep moving now that piece of fabric around the room. Oops. Right, 2 more strips, and then we can do some strip trimming, and then sew them back together again, because that's what we like to do, basically, isn't it? We like to cut things, sew them together, cut them again, sew them back together again. And anyone that isn't into this must look at us going, what are they doing? Totally crazy behaviour. And sometimes I would agree. I would completely agree. Yeah, so what I realise is that I'm still at that stage where some people, most people know about the split, and then there are some people that don't. So the other week when I was over at the craft store and the doorman, the security guard was there, and new man Ian was helping me into the building with all my stuff. He said, who's that, Tash? Who's that? I went, oh, it's my boyfriend. I went, thought you were married. Where's your husband? He's at home with the kids, looking after them. And he obviously didn't know. He just looked at me and went, you're not even joking, are you? I was like, no, I'm not. And there are those awkward moments still. You sort of go, oh, that didn't sound very good at all, did it? Never mind. And you sort of move on politely, trying not to cause any offence anywhere. But hey, sure I'm not the first. Right, okay, let's get these together. And then we're good to start cutting. So this does come together nice and quickly. The bit that took me the time this morning was the cutting, and you're not going to have to do that because I'm going to have already done it for you if you're grabbing the kit. So that's all good. And here we are. Now the next question is, how much have I got on my bobbin? Oh no, it's okay, because we are on the UX8, so it will tell me if I'm about to play bobbin chicken. It's really cool actually. I've got this one set so that it tells me 100 stitches out. How cool is that I can do it? Or I can ask it to tell me when it's like 30 stitches out. I like it to tell me 100 stitches out, so I've still got a little bit of wiggle room if needs be. And here we go, we're nearly there. Alrighty, so we'll give that a press. We'll start chopping it up again, because it's what we like to do. The thing that I would really bear in mind, if you are... What's this? What are you lot saying? Gosh, look at all this. We always kiss goodnight, and when he's leaving the house, apart from 2 nights ago, we had words. Uh-oh. How many words, says Myra? 2, maybe. 2's enough. You're wrong, says Julia. Now, how does that work with the hyphen? No, not the hyphen. The apostrophe. Does that make it purely one word? The your. You lot are funny. You do make me laugh. Oh, did you get a glare? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Not the glare. It's one of those things though, isn't it? You lot, honestly. Sylv will go with a silent treatment and a glare. It's really weird actually at the moment, because I don't know how many of you know like my history of how I started to be in this business, but I started when Freddie was just over a year old at Create and Craft, and that was where I started as a presenter. And I look back now at my first shows and I just shudder at how awful they were. I was so bad, but you've got to learn somehow, right? You've got to learn somewhere. And for me it was Create and Craft. Oh dear. And now the craft store, which was Hochanda, has bought Create and Craft, and I left there, gosh, five years or so ago to go and set up, and I was the launch presenter for Sewing Quarter. So did that and then set up on my own whilst working at Hochanda, which is now the craft store. All gets very convoluted, doesn't it? But now that the two channels have merged, the craft store and Create and Craft, I'm getting to see all the gorgeous demonstrators and people that I used to work with 5 years ago. And the number of people whose lives have just changed completely. You really couldn't write it. And it's so lovely to catch up with everyone, because as soon as you work for a different company, you know, management will often be like, "Rrr." And I don't believe in any of that. You know, if they're my friend, they're my friend. I don't care who they work with. So I've always made sure I go and say hello to people when I've seen them. So it's been really, really lovely. It's sad. And obviously it's sad because there will be redundancies, but it is really nice to catch up with everyone and see what life has done with them for the last 5 years or so. Right. For speed, time and effort, I'm going to layer these up. So these are my plain strips, and they are my strips. And I'm going to cut. Now it's 2 inches. It's very, very easy to get carried away and go 2.5 because that's what we're used to, but it's not. It's 2 inches. And I'll just do a few of these just to show you then how we're going to put these together. Line up your stripology ruler on your sewn line, not the top. Let's check. Yep, that's got all of that. So 2 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This does the front of the cushion. Now, if you wanted to, because you'll see with it, it goes all the way around, which is really gorgeous. Or you could just do the front and get 2 cushions out of this. It's entirely up to you. So what I now have is it's an iPad that's just doing its own thing and changing everything. Come on, iPad. Come on. There we are. There. Are very beautiful strip sets. So if we look on the next page of our instructions, that's our cutting. And then here we are. So we are going to have the pink at the top and then at the bottom. Oh yeah, I would need to cut another one. Look, I've got my selvage on there. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the idea. But this is how this cushion is going to look, so that you can really get an idea. See, this is just rather lovely. So it's picking out all these little tealy bits. The bright teal bits is what that's going to pick out. And then you've got this deeper pink in there. Now, if you've got chambrays at home, you can use your chambrays for that. But just, isn't that gorgeous? And so you're just going to I said you don't have to line anything up. This one you will line up. That will be the one that's going to be the same throughout. I rather like that. I think that's rather gorgeous. And then in your kit, so you'll stitch that and that'll be your front. Now, what you've got in here is another piece of fabric so that you can fold that under and hem it. And that will then be your facings, so that inside your cushion looks rather fabulous. It's a goodly size, isn't it? Really goodly size. I rather like it. And that's the other colour version. So we've got that colourway and that colourway, and they're both rather fabulous. It's up to you which you fancy going for, if I'm honest. Now, the other thing that I really want to look at is just whip those away for a moment, because I promise you some brand new Lewis and Irene, because the Queen, bless her, has been on the throne for how many years? 75, something ridiculous. So we need to celebrate, and good old Lewis and Irene, being the fabulous British company that they are, have brought out a fabulous range of terribly British fabrics. Here we are. Oof. So I thought you might like a quick look. Yes. So let's have a look at these. Now, the panels, I believe, here we are, have sold out, the bunting panels, but you can make your own bunting, everybody. And look, you've got your little hearts there with the Union Jack on. Everything typically British there with your, and look, you've got gold on here, which is just fab with the crown and everything else. Who's going to have for the, it's the Platinum Jubilee, isn't it? Who is going to have a street party? Because we get an extra bank holiday, don't we? So you've got more of the hearts. I think the heart fabrics are fabulous. And then you've got your wonderful borders. So it's exactly the same the other side of the fabric there. That's rather fun, isn't it? I think we need to make some great bags or something out of this. Or even just have that as a panel and just sash around it. Be fabulous. Or if you want it in colour, then we've got it in colour. That might be really nice actually, just for a kid's school or something, just so that they can have something to talk about what's happening, what's going on, why have they got an extra day off school or that kind of thing. And then we've got another colourway. This has got sort of a platinum-y colour. Can you see? What I really love about Lewis and Irene is, bear with me, I will get there in a minute, is that when they go metallic, they do go metallic, and they don't really care how much they put on. They don't limit themselves. So you can see there, got your metallic on there, glistening away beautifully. So for each of those heart fabrics, by the way, they're rather gorgeous, aren't they? In fact, maybe it's good to show these all close up for you. So these are all available now by the half metre. Look at that one. Oh, look at this. Look, and because it's platinum, got your platinum bit on there with the horses and everything. Oh, that's rather fabulous, isn't it? And now again, guys, with these, when they are gone, they are gone. You have got your Union Jacks. You have got your sparkly crowns. I mean, come on, 75 years. She deserves a party, right? And there you go with your afternoon tea. Love this in full colour. Look at that. Just fabulous. Oh, I might have to do something for the kids' school, I think. Yeah. More Union Jacks. So this could be bunting. Like this could all be rather fabulous bunting to celebrate. Oh, look at that. Or maybe you know someone who's a bit of a princess. And then that is your last one there, which I think is just rather fabulous. So this all came in, oh gosh, back end of last week. So we haven't, this is the first chance we've had to actually show you, get it out of the packets and show them to you. So this is the Jubilee range from Lewis and Irene. So do grab a good look at those, see what you think. I don't know what is going on with my computer today. It's obviously decided it's just quite frankly had enough. Wants me to sign in again, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, do take a look at those. We will be back tomorrow morning. Yes. 10 o'clock with, well, it depends what comes in. I'd hoped something rather fabulous was going to be in for you tomorrow, but if it isn't, we'll have a little change of plans. So watch this space, look on social media, and we'll make sure that we show you what's what. Grab the rest of your Tilda before that sells out in however it is that you want it. Is it?
Yeah. Just arrived about half an hour ago.
Oh, amazing. Right, it is brand new velvets from Odile by Earl tomorrow then. Yay! Oh, I can't wait. So grab your Jubilee fabric before that sells out. Grab your Tilda before that sells out. And because I know some of it has already sold out already. And we will be here tomorrow with brand new Odile by Earl velvets. They are gorgeous. I cannot wait to see them. And that's what I'm going to go and do now. Take care. Have a fabulous rest of the day. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.